What up, you guys? Slim here at Panda. Here to do a really interesting card discussion. This is not going to be a this or that or a card comparison. This is actually a really good idea that the channel Team Goham sent to me. So shout out to you, big shout out to you, because this is an amazing, amazing topic that I haven't even, thought of doing for a discussion. I did mention it already though in my restoring balance into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. So I know a lot of people have been checking that out, and thank you so much. We're going to talk about why Giant Trunade needs to get banned and Heavy Storm needs to come back. At first, I was a little shaky to say Giant Trunade should be banned, but with all the plays that Trunade has been able to pull off, this format especially, I can see why. Trunade, is very hard to stop, you guys. Honestly, in most decks, the only way you can stop Trunade is Solemn Judgment, and that's half your life points. That's kind of hard. Like, honestly, Trunade is very hard to stop. If you're not using Sheehan or you're not using Solemn Judgment, it's really hard to use. Most people don't use Magic Drain, so that doesn't happen a lot. And, stuff like that. That just makes the game kind of crazy. In this discussion, it's like saying, once Trunade goes off, you kind of know you're fucked. You know shit's about to go down the minute Trunade is played because it's wiped your back row clean, and now they're free to do what they want. When I run Fish FTK, if I don't open FTK, but I do have Trunade, I hold it, I save it, and I'd still use it to scare my opponent because the minute I Trunade, they know something's going to go down, and it's like, that's it. This card has been amazing, this format, and everyone knows how much I love Trunade. That will never change, depending on what Konami does. That will never change. My opinion on Trunade will never change. It's one of the best cards out in the game right now. One of my personal favorites, and yeah. But the thing is, honestly, if you guys really listen to what I said in restoring balance to Yu-Gi-Oh, Heavy Storm needs to come back, you guys. Heavy Storm needs to come back because too many players are setting 3, 4, 5 back rows without fear, and that's not Yu-Gi-Oh, you guys. That's, like I said before, that's called skillless Yu-Gi-Oh, where you're just setting your back rows and just waiting for your opponent to fall in your traps. And we used to play in a format where you were afraid to set more than 1 or 2 back row for fear of Heavy Storm, and we need that back. We need that scare tactic back in this game so that people won't be blind setting everything, thinking they've got it made, whereas it'll actually take skill to win the game. Trunade scares people shitless. Like, literally, you've set 5 back row. If one of them isn't Judgment or a way to counter Trunade, you're kind of screwed. Because once Trunade goes off, your cards are back in your hand, and they can win, basically. However, if they're not destroyed, like through Storm, you can always reset them next turn and, continue to use them as you please. But I honestly think to bring I guess like peace and just like what I always say, balance. I mean that this game is unbalanced. We have way too many broken cards, and one of the most unbalanced things in this game is that you're setting 4 or 5 back row and summoning a monster. That's it. Like, it's dumb. Like, your opponent has a really hard time getting around that. There's no skill involved. Like, the only skill that's involved is if you're able to trinate that stuff away and run over the monster, and then what? Like, you're kind of left in the dark of what to do. What I loved about Heavy Storm is that people were afraid to set stuff because they feared at any moment Heavy Storm would be unleashed, and then it's like, oh god, I just lost all my back row. And that's the thing with Heavy Storm, is that it really puts the fear of setting stuff into the mind of players because you play that, everything's destroyed. You're not getting it back. You don't run Magician. Magician of Faith isn't legal anymore. You're really not getting it back. I doubt people run Stone Excavation. So, I mean, you're really not getting your stuff back. And that's what this game needs. This game needs a scare tactic. It needs to get back to the way it was, where you would set maybe 1 or 2 back row, and you feared Storm, and you knew that I need to play my cards right, or if I get stormed, it's game over. Heavy Storm has been a game ender for many players. You play Heavy Storm, bring out your strongest card, attack directly, game, whatever. But in this past format where everyone is just setting everything, there's no skill involved. There's just summon a monster, set a couple back row, end your turn. GBs do this, GKs do that. Samurais make their shit, set a couple back row, end their turn. And like I said, it's skillless Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, it's nothing to set a couple back row that your opponent can't stop. And it's like, you fear Trunade, and you need to fear Heavy Storm, because Heavy Storm is like one of the best spell cards ever. I mean, you destroy every spell and trap card on the field, regardless if face up or face down. That's amazing. Like, Storm is just awesome. I really want Heavy Storm to come back. I want it to be used again in the format. It works amazing in just so many ways. And This way it'll restore balance back to the game somewhat, because it's going to take Konami a really long time to bring us back to a really good format of this game where people are actually going to enjoy playing and not just sacking their way to victory. That's all I really got to say, you guys. Everyone knows I love trunade. I will always love trunade, but I fully agree that it needs to get hit on the list just to restore balance. But if they will not bring back Heavy Storm, leave trunade alone. If they do bring back Heavy Storm, trunade should probably get hit, because I mean, without Cold Wave, I mean, when you have Trunade and Storm, it's kind of broken. I mean, I could see Trunade staying around like it did when Heavy Storm was out, but I think now more than ever, if Storm comes back this time, Trunade should go. And I mean, those are my honest thoughts, you guys. Please leave feedback below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you see what I'm saying when I say balanced Yu-Gi-Oh? I mean, that's like the thing I want people to understand, is I'm talking about balancing the game back to the way it was. I've been playing this game since it started, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of people who have just started playing do not know what I'm talking about. So if you don't, watch my video on restoring the meta. And, hopefully Konami will listen, and hopefully they'll bring back Storm, get rid of Trunade, and we'll have a much more balanced format where people are more afraid to set stuff than ever. And we'll actually have a skillful game where you don't sack to win. So that's all I got to say, you guys. Leave your feedback below. Please consider rate, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.